Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever seen those social media posts where students kind of whispering about their college choice, almost embarrassed.
Like they can't admit where they're going.
Exactly. Well, this deep dive is for anyone who's seen that or maybe even felt that. We are cutting through all that noise, the snark, and frankly, the negative stigma around community colleges.
Yeah, that stigma is probably the biggest hurdle CCs face. But our mission today, really, is to set the record straight. We've pulled together stats, financial data, student stories.
Lots of sources.
Right, to give you a clear picture of the viability, the affordability, and the equity of community colleges as a genuinely powerful starting point.
We've got student accounts, hard cost data, analyses on, the changing student population. And the takeaway seems to be starting smart isn't starting second class.
Not at all.
So let's jump right in with the biggest, maybe the most undeniable argument, the cost.
It's the ultimate differentiator, really. I mean, just looking at affordability makes it a strategic choice for so many. The contrast is stark, and it directly impacts potential debt.
And the numbers, well, they really tell the story. Our sources show the average yearly tuition and fees for a public CC, assuming you're in district, is just under $4,000, about $3,990.
Right.
Now, hold on to that number. Compared to the average public four-year university, that jumps to over $11,260 just for in-state. And don't even get started on some private schools.
Oh, yeah. Those can easily be triple that or more. And remember, that's just tuition and fees, not room, not board, none of that.
So if you do those first 2 years at a CC, you're saving, literally thousands of dollars right off the bat.
Instantly. And critically, you're less likely to need big student loans. The average bachelor's degree holder walks away with over $30,000 in debt. Starting cheaper is, well, it's the best defense against that.
Yeah. Okay, the money argument is pretty powerful, hard to argue with. But let's be honest, the second you say community college, some people think, inferior, If it costs less, it must be less good.
That perception is definitely out there, but it's flawed right from the start. The key thing our sources point out is the faculty. They have the same credentials, master's degrees, doctorates, just like university professors.
So the teaching quality itself isn't the issue?
Not at all. The curriculum is challenging. The education isn't non-viable. It's just delivered in a different setting.
And that setting, that structure, actually seems to be a major advantage, according to some sources, something big universities can't easily replicate.
Precisely. We saw one student testimony. They mentioned a calculus class with just 3 students, 3, taught by a PhD.
Wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, their friend at a huge university was in the same course, but in a lecture hall with 100 other people.
Right. So smaller classes mean you can actually talk to the professor, get help easier.
Exactly. Better connections, real academic support, more focus. That structural difference, that's a huge academic benefit, not a downside.
Plus, there's the flexibility factor. For students juggling jobs or families, CCs often have way more online options, night classes, schedules that actually fit into a busy life.
Which leads right into who's actually going to college these days. Because the traditional student isn't really the norm anymore. We need to talk about the new majority learner.
Yeah, that image of the 18-year-old heading straight to a dorm, it's becoming less common. The data shows over 40% of college students today are older than 22. And nearly 60%, 58% actually are working while they're taking classes.
And the definition of a non-traditional student is pretty broad. You just need one of 7 things like having a child, working part-time, or being the first in your family to go to college, first-generation students.
And that group, first-generation students, or FGS, CCs seem absolutely vital for them.
Hugely important. About a third, 32% of all community college students are first-generation. And it made sense why.
Low tuition, obviously.
Lowest tuition, yeah. Plus, they're usually close by, so you can commute, save on dorm costs, living expenses. And they often have support systems specifically for these students.
Yeah, what kind of support?
Tailored financial aid help, sometimes even things like free or discounted childcare, which is critical because, first-gen students often face extra challenges.
It's not just about maybe needing some academic catch-up.
No, not just that. There's often more financial stress figuring out the bureaucracy, the jargon of college applications and aid, and sadly, a higher risk of dropping out, sometimes because life stuff gets in the way. Retention risk, they call it.
So, okay, if you are a first-generation student or maybe a parent going back to school, what do the sources say are the must-do strategies for success?
You've got to be proactive. Use the free resources from day one. Tutoring centers, writing labs, advisors.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Definitely not. Talk to academic advisors, financial aid counselors. Understand the process. Keep an eye on your grades, especially midterms. And importantly, build that support network yourself. It doesn't just happen automatically.
Got it. Okay, let's pivot a bit. What about the outcomes? There's this idea that an associate's degree, an AA, is sort of pointless, or that it's the only thing CCs offer.
Yeah, another myth we need to bust. First off, AAs are really effective stepping stones. They let you build a strong academic record, maybe boost your GPA, and get those core credits needed for transfer.
Makes transferring to a four-year school smoother and maybe cheaper in the long run.
Exactly. But they're also valuable on their own. The job market for roles requiring an associate's, it's projected to grow almost 6% in the next decade.
So it does have value in the workforce.
Absolutely. And CCs offer way more than just AAs. There are tons of career-focused programs, technical certificates. Some take 2 years, some are shorter. Non-credit programs just designed to get you into a specific job quickly.
Like trades or healthcare tech fields.
Things like that, yeah. And interestingly, more and more community colleges are actually offering bachelor's degrees themselves now in certain fields.
Wait, really? You can get a four-year degree at a community college?
In some programs, yes. It bypasses the whole transfer thing. And get this. For students in those specific CC bachelor's programs, 72% said they didn't need any student loans.
72%.
Yeah.
That's, wow. That stat alone practically makes the case for avoiding the traditional route if that option exists for your field.
It's a massive point about avoiding debt. And those success stories we see, they're not just one-offs. Like the ultrasound technician earning over $60,000 soon after graduating from a CC program.
That's immediate, tangible career mobility.
Totally. Or other stories, like a high school dropout who found their way to CC, ended up with a chemistry degree, became a teacher. Or a mom who went back at 38, started at a CC, and later became an assistant principal.
So it really can be a launch pad for a significant change.
Powerful portal to opportunity, yeah. Built for people who need, real results.
Okay, final area. Let's circle back to that social anxiety thing. The feeling of missing out on the true college experience. Dorms, Greek life, big football games.
Yeah, that's a fair point. CCs typically don't have that same kind of residential, large-scale campus life. That's a difference.
But it's not like there's nothing happening on campus.
Not at all. They absolutely have clubs, student government, honors societies like Phi Theta Kappa, campus events. The engagement is there. You just maybe have to be a bit more proactive in finding it.
But here's what some sources frame as the real advantage, the trade-off. You get the time, the space, the support to actually figure out what you want to study before you're paying the much higher tuition at a four-year school. Think of the money saved not taking classes you end up dropping or that don't count towards your major.
That low-cost exploration phase is incredibly valuable. And transferring, often it actually gets easier after doing well at a CC.
How so?
Because universities look at your success in those college-level CC classes. A strong CC GPA can outweigh, say, mediocre SAT scores from high school. Plus, it can open doors to specific transfer scholarships.
Okay, so if the goal is eventually a four-year degree, what's the absolute core strategy, the non-negotiable thing to make the CC pathway work?
One document. You need to know it, live it, breathe it from day one. The articulation agreement, sometimes called a 2+2 plan.
That's the roadmap showing which CC classes transfer directly to a specific university program, right?
Exactly. It's not just paperwork. It's your shield against wasted time and money. You have to work with your academic advisor immediately, confirm every single class you take will transfer for your intended major before you register. If you don't, you risk paying for credits that are worthless at the next step.
So that's the number one action item. Talk to the advisor, map out the transfer plan using that agreement.
Non-negotiable. And then, yeah, use those free support systems. Go to the tutoring center. Ask tutors who the really good professors are. They always know. And finally, it's about mindset. Start with good study habits from the beginning. Be upfront with your family, if you have one, about the time commitment this takes. And please, don't choose your education based on how it looks to someone else.
Yeah, sacrificing your financial future for perceived status seems unwise.
Definitely. Right.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive. The picture that emerges from our sources is pretty clear. Community colleges are affordable, they promote equity, they offer solid academics, and honestly, they're often the smartest, most strategic starting point for today's students.
Whether you're working, parenting, returning to school, or fresh out of high school, it's high-quality education that minimizes that crushing debt load.
Right.
So we know CCs offer quality, low cost, and that crucial time to figure things out. If your goal is that 4-year degree and you can dramatically cut down debt, find your footing academically in a supportive place, then what's the real measure of success here? Is it the name on the transcript for those first 2 years?
Or is it the financial stability and the career clarity you gain down the road because you started smart?
Exactly. Which one truly sets you up better for the long term?
That is the question to ponder. That long-term security is huge. We really encourage you, if this resonates, explore the resources we talked about, especially those transfer services and articulation agreements at your local community college.
Definitely worth investigating.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.